Welcome to another episode of Rick's Referrals, where I connect you with local small business owners in our community. As always, I'm your host, local real estate agent Ricky Nystrom, and today I'm joined by loan officer Mr. Ben Heinrichs of Summit Funding. How you doing today, Ben?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
So what do you want to talk about today?
Today I thought I'd talk about some of the barriers of home entry for people that are first-time home buyers. I think owning a home is easier than people think for the most part. First of all, it doesn't cost anything to apply. So just to inquire and go meet with somebody like myself, a professional, who can kind of guide you through the path of where you need to be if you're not in the place where you want to be right away when you go to apply. So what we try to do is when we meet with people who are applying for the first time, if they're not ready right away, we try to kind of give them that roadmap to success. Kind of give them a plan, whether it's help them fix their credit or save money for a down payment or manage their debt or kind of dissolve a bankruptcy and figure out how to get around that, as far as what timelines you need to wait to be able to do that, get that next loan in. Those are kind of the things we like to do.
I love that. I love that roadmap because so often I run into people out there who think they're doing their best, right? So they have that one high interest credit card and they want to pay that down. But that may not necessarily be the best option for them. So coming and meeting with somebody like you really steers them in the right direction, you know, when they get a little bit of money, where to apply that or what they need to do.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people will do things like take money they have in savings and pay down debt because they feel like the debt is bad. And of course, we don't want to carry debt if we don't have to, but a lot of times that money is better served in a savings account, either as a reserve or as additional down payment. So a lot of times you get advice from family and friends, and everybody wants to help, but it's best to talk to a professional when talking about something like this. Just kind of get the right advice right off the bat so you know what to do and you don't shoot yourself in the foot. Because a lot of times you can't go back and undo things that have already been done. So.
Right. So coming in and meeting with a professional like you, how early is too early to meet with you? Like if I'm thinking like, 2020 vision, I want to buy a house sometime this year, when's a good time?
Yeah, definitely. I think the same year for sure. Especially if you're in a situation where things aren't all falling in line. Not everybody has the perfect credit score and the 20% down and all the things lined up ready to go. So I think a lot of times it's best to meet with someone earlier because there's no harm in doing it. We'll work at your credit. We'll see where it is, where it needs to be to maybe help you out, or if you need to work on saving some money. The longer we have to work with you to give you that roadmap, the better our results tend to be because we've kind of had more time to work on your situation and get you to where you want to go.
Right. So I came to you and wanted to be in a house in a month and I don't have everything perfect. That might not be realistic or it may not be in my best interest. I may have a higher interest rate or a higher down payment than if I would have met with you 6 months ago.
Yeah, and also a lot of people assume that there's a large down payment needed, to buy a house, or if you don't put a large amount of money down, you're going to end up with a terrible loan. That's not the case at all. FHA loans have traditionally low interest rates, especially for people with not perfect credit, and those only require 3.5% for a down payment. If you happen to be a veteran, you don't have to put any money down. So there's a lot of loans available out there, and conventional loans even go as low as 3% down. So the more you put down with a conventional loan, the less you'll pay in private mortgage insurance or PMI. And if you have questions about that, you can message us on Facebook and we kind of go into more detail about that. It's a little bit lengthy to talk about something like this, but basically the more you put down, the less you pay in PMI, and that's just a fee you're paying for not putting down 20%. So another thing too, Ricky, is time and job. I have a lot of people who come to me and say, hey, I've been wanting to buy a house for a year, but I've only been in my job for a year and a half, so I know I have to wait another 6 months. And it's just not the case. You have to have a 2-year job history, but you don't have to be in the same job for 2 years. So traditionally, if you fall in line with a consistent employment history and you have the same type of job with the same type of pay, a simple 2-year history will do. So
awesome. Yeah, that's really beneficial. It's definitely a misnomer that I hear often out there.
Yeah. And the other thing that's kept a lot of people out of the market over the last few years, especially because of the crash of '08 and what happened with the housing market here locally and nationally, is people coming out of some unfortunate credit situations, things like bankruptcies, foreclosures. For a bankruptcy, to do a conventional loan, you only have to wait 4 years to come out of that bankruptcy to be able to do that. And then for an FHA loan or a VA loan for our veterans, you only have to wait 2 years. So a lot of people think 7 years. I hear that term thrown around a lot. The only rule really of 7 that applies is with a foreclosure. To do a conventional loan, you have to wait 7 years. But that's really the only time period of 7 years where you have to wait that long. With a foreclosure, if you want to do an FHA loan, you only have to wait 3 years, and a VA loan is only 2 years.
Wow.
So,
yeah, those are a lot smaller timelines than, a lot of people think, especially with some of those unfortunate circumstances. We all go through some of those things. So, it's really important just, just coming speaking with you, and it may be closer than you think.
Yeah. And Chico, rent isn't getting cheaper, especially since the unfortunate fire we had. We really impacted this town, and now we have a real housing crisis here on our hands as far as just not enough places for people to live, which drives up the cost of rent. The nice thing about getting that home loan, that 30-year fixed loan, is that your mortgage payment, your cost of living, your housing expense is never going up.
Right, it's a fixed cost at that point. You can budget in.
Yeah, exactly. So main message here, I think, is just to come in and talk to somebody who's a professional. Feel free to contact myself or Ricky. We can go over a plan for you if you're not ready or if you are ready. Either way, we'd love to help you out. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Rick's Referrals. I'll have Ben's contact information below, and if you know anybody who may benefit from an episode of Rick's Referrals, I'll have my contact information below as well, and I'm always available for your real estate referrals.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.